Hey guys, welcome back. Here we're going to discuss about machine independent optimization. So why we are going for this optimization? Whenever we try to translate the high level construct into a machine code independently, and this may introduce a runtime overhead. So in order to eliminate these inefficiencies, we are going for doing the code optimization, or we can say code improvement. So here how we are going to do this code improvement is by eliminating the unnecessary instructions in the object code, or we can say by replacing the sequence of instructions by faster sequence of instructions, so which does the same thing as your original code, and this is called as the code improvement or code optimization. And here the code optimization comes in two ways. One is local code optimization and the next one is global code optimization. So when we say local code optimization, so here we are improving the code within the basic block. And coming to global optimization, so these are all based on the data flow analysis. That is, here the improvements are taken across the basic blocks. So in this chapter, that is in this session, we are going to discuss about the global code optimization. As mentioned here, the global code optimization are based on the data flow analysis, and this data flow analysis is an algorithm to gather the information about a program. So here the result of this data flow analysis actually have the same form. That is, for each instruction in the program, they specify some property and that must hold every time that instruction is executed. And here this analysis may differ in properties. That is, for example, whenever we are having a constant propagation analysis, so here this actually computes that for each point and for each variable used, so here it should have a unique constant values. So this is what constant propagation analysis. Then the next analysis is liveness analysis. So here this liveness analysis actually determines for each point in the program whether the value held by a particular variable is to be overwritten before it is read. So here we need not preserve that value either in a register or in a memory location. Now we'll start our discussion with the principal sources of optimization. So here we know the compiler optimization should preserve the semantic of the original program. That is, the meaning of the original program should not be changed even after optimization. So that is a very important property when we are going for an optimization. And here we are going to discuss what are all the principal sources of optimization. So starting with redundancy. So that is the causes of redundancy. There are many redundant operations in a program. Sometimes here the redundancy is available at the source level itself. For example, a programmer may find it more direct and convenient to recalculate some result, and this will leave the compiler to recognize that that calculation is necessary for one time, or it is needed for only once. But this type of redundancy can be a side effect for having the program in a high level language. Let us consider an example program, that is quickshot. So this is the code for a quickshot, and now we're going to convert this code into a 3 address code. Then we'll see how we can optimize that particular 3 address code for this quickshot program. So these are the converted 3 address code instruction for that quickshot program. And in this example, we are going to assume that here the integers occupy 4 bytes. So we will take this three address code, and we'll try to find the flow graph for this 3 address code, and with that flow graph we're gonna do a global optimization here, and we'll discuss what are all the transformations that we can apply to that particular code in order to optimize the code. So these are all some of the semantic preserving transformation that we can use to improve the program. And the first one is common subexpression elimination, and the next one is copy propagation, then dead code elimination, and finally constant folding. So we'll see what are these things with the example. And this is the flow graph that we have constructed for the given 3 address code. So here we have converted that 3 address code into a number of blocks, and then we have formed a flow graph with these blocks. And if you look at here, block 5 and block 6, so here this block 5 and block 6 consists of some of the statements inside it. And now we'll try to optimize this block 5 and block 6. That is, first we gonna do a local optimization here, and then we are going to apply a global optimization. Now let us take only this block 5 and we'll try to do local optimization in this block 5. So this is block 5 before optimization and after optimization. Now we will see how to optimize this block 5. And the first thing for doing optimization, so we should consider the redundancy here. So we should check for redundancies, where the redundancy occurs in this sequence of instructions. So in that case, we are going to check the common sub expressions here. So what are the common sub expressions that are available here inside this block? So looking for the first statement, so we don't have anything to do with the first statement. Then coming to the second statement, so it is not a common sub expression here. Then coming to the third statement, so if you see the third statement and first statement, so here it has the common sub expression, because this calculates the same value. These two expressions calculates the same value, and we are doing this calculation for two different variables, right? But the result will be same here, and that will be stored in two different variables. In the same way, the next statement has 4 star j. Then coming to the next statement, so here we cannot we don't have anything to do with this statement. Then coming to this statement, so this is also a common one, so we don't have anything to do with this. Then coming to the next statement, so if you see here in this next statement, again there is a common sub expression in this statement, so which is similar to this expression, so which is 4 star j and 4 star j. Here also we are going to compute the value 4 star j, so which is same for this statement and this statement, but we are going to assign these two different values, these two same values to the different variables here. So here we can say that a redundancy is happening, right? So we can eliminate this redundancy. How we can eliminate this redundancy? So just by removing these statements, so just by deleting these statements from the code, that is t7 is equal to 4 star I, and then t10 is equal to 4 star j. So we can delete these two statements here, and wherever we have t7, in the place of t7 we can replace this t7 with t6, because both has the same value, right? So we can replace t7 with t6, and coming to t10, so we can replace this t10 with t8. So that is what we just have done here. So the first statement is similar here, and then second statement it is also similar. We just deleted this statement, third statement. Then fourth statement is same. Coming to fifth statement, it is also same. Then coming to sixth statement, so when you see the sixth statement here, instead of t7 we just have given t6. We used t6 here, so replacing t7 with t6. So that is what we have done here. Then coming to this statement, we deleted this statement. Then the next statement contains t10, so instead of t10 we are going to use t8. So we replaced t10 with t8 here, and finally go to b2. So in this way we have reduced, that is we have optimized this block 5 like this by eliminating the redundancy, that is local common sub expressions, by eliminating the local common sub expression. Now coming to global common sub expression. So as mentioned, local common sub expression means optimizing the code within the block, and here in global common sub expression, so here we are going to optimize the code across the blocks. So here we have taken the two blocks, that is block 5 and block 6 for optimization. So how these blocks are optimized here? So we already done optimization inside B5, right? So now again we are going to optimize this code across blocks. So for that we are going to consider the block outside this B5. Starting from block 1. So in this block 1, if you take, we don't have any common sub expressions in this block 1. Then coming to block 2. So when you see block 2, in block 2 we have a statement that is 4 star I, so which we already have seen in block 5, right? So we here this 4 star I will compute some value, and that value will be stored inside the temporary variable t2. And after this, when you look at the remaining statements in block 2, here we are not going to change the value of I anywhere inside the block. So in the same way, coming to the next block, that is block 3. So when you look at block 3, here also we are not going to change the value of I anywhere, and in block 4 also we are not changing the value of I anywhere. So now what we can do is we can eliminate the redundancy that is happening in B5. In the same way, when you look at B3, so here in B3 we have 4 star J, so which is computing some value, and that value will be assigned with T4. Now after this statement, when you look for the value of J, so which is not changing anywhere or after the statement in any of the block. So for that statement also, that is here we have the redundancies, that is a common expression is having inside block 3, block 5 and block 6. So now what we can do is we can do global optimization here. That is, we are going to eliminate all these redundancies in block 5, block 6 based on block 2 and block 3. So first we will take this statement, that is T2 is equal to 4 star I. So first we will try to delete the expression, that is the common sub expression, with this 4 star I. Then we can replace all those terminal variables with T2. So coming to block 5, so in block 5 here, instead of this statement, so we can delete the statement 4 star I, then we can also delete the statement 4 star I, right? So wherever we have this T6 and T7, we can replace that T6 and T7 with T2. So we can replace T6 with T2 here, and coming to T7, here also we can replace it with T6, T2. Then again this is for this statement, that is 4 star I. In the same way, here in block 3 we have 4 star J, which is assigned to a variable T4. So now what we can do here is we can eliminate this 4 star J, that is we can delete this 4 star J. Wherever 4 star J is there inside this block, we can delete that 4 star J, and instead of T8 and T10, so we can replace this T8 and T10 with T4. So wherever we have T8 and T10, so we can replace that with T4. So here we can replace it with T4. Now what will be the optimized code? So now we'll see that optimized code. So now block 5 will contain X, which is equal to A of T2. Then T instead of T9 will be same. So here T4. Then it contains A of T2 is equal to T9. And then A of T4 is equal to X, then go to B2. So now this block is optimized like this. So with these statements, in the same way, taking B6, so block 6, so here we can delete this statement, then we can delete this statement, and finally we can replace this 4 star I with T2. So wherever we have T11 and T12, we can replace the T11 with T2. Then we can replace this T12 with T2. So now in the same way, then looking for this 4 star N. So here in block 1 we have 4 star N, so which is assigned to a T1, and after this statement there is no other statement which changes the value of that computation T star N. So what we can do now is we can just eliminate this redundancies, right? So we can just delete these statements here inside this block 6, that is for 4 star N, and wherever we have T13 and T15, in that place we can write T1, so which contains the actual 4 star N result. So instead of T13 and T15, we can write T1. So T1. So this is how we optimized here, and also we have some other statements where the redundancy is actually happening. That is, if you look at the statement a of t2, so here in this block 2 we have a of t2 that is assigned to t3 already. So now what we can do is we can just replace this a of t2 into t3. Why? Because so whenever we have this array statement, first we should compute the value of t2, and then we have to compute the value of a of t2, and then we should go for the remaining expression, that is remaining evaluation. So instead of doing all these things once again, what we can do here is we can simply replace this a of t2 with t3. So here we can replace this a of t2 with t3, and the next statement what we can do is here we have t9 is equal to a of t4, and if you see in this block 3 we already have a of t4 which is assigned to t5. So again repeating the same statement in this block without changing the result. So what we can do here is we can delete this statement, and wherever we have t9 here, so we can replace that t9 with t5. So if you look at here we have t9, so we just can replace this t9 with t5. So likewise we are going to optimize the code across blocks. That is, we are going to see the redundancies wherever the redundancy is happening, and we are going to eliminate those redundancies, and we are optimizing the code across the blocks. So this is what the global optimization is. So after applying all those things, so this is the final statement that we will obtain after optimization in block 5 and block 6. So now block 5 contains 4 statements and block 6 contains 4 statements. Then the next one is the copy propagation. That is wherever we have the expression that is computing the same result. So instead of repeating the same expressions again and again, that is instead of computing the same expressions again and again and doing operations here, what we can just do is we can remove this code. That is, we can rewrite this code like this. So if you look at this code, here we have a is equal to d plus e, and here we have b is equal to d plus e and c is equal to d plus e. So whenever we are executing this, so when a program takes this path, so here in these two blocks it is having the same common expressions here, and whenever the program takes this path, here also it is having the same common expressions which is to be evaluated twice, right? So instead of doing this 2 times here, whichever the path it is taking, so instead of evaluating the same expression more than once, what we can just do is we can replace these statements like this. So when you look at here, we have assigned this d plus e. That is, first we are evaluating this d plus e, and the result will be assigned to a temporary variable. After that, we are assigning this temporary variable to the variable a, and then here coming to this block, here we are not going to perform this d plus e again. Instead, we can just copy the value of t into c. So here also the same case. So when it takes this path, here the same value d plus e will be copied to a as well as c. And when the program takes this path, then here also this value will be taken to b and c. So instead of computing this d plus e twice, even in this path and this path, so here what we are going to do, we are going to take a copy of this evaluation. So we are just copying the result to these variables here. So this is what a copy propagation. So that is what we have done in the block 5. So as I already mentioned, so instead of computing this a of t2 once again, so what we can just do is we can just replace this a of t2 with t3 directly. So that is what a copy propagation we are doing here. So after performing this copy propagation only, we are getting this statements in the block 5. And the next transformation technique we have here is dead code elimination. So when a code is said to be a dead code, so when we say that if the value of a variable is not used subsequently in a program, then we can term that code as a dead code at that point. So here we'll take one example and see how we can eliminate the dead code in a code. So here this is the example. We have a condition that we are just checking the value of debug, and when it is true, then it will go for the print statement, and if it is false, again it will go for the next statement present after this if condition. And here in this condition, whenever the value of debug is true, then it will print the statement that is present inside this print statement. And if the debug value is false, it won't print the statement. And just imagine that somewhere in the program, the value of debug is set as false. So just before this condition, the value of debug is set as false, and which is not at all changed after this statement. That is, after setting the debug value as false, the value of debug is never changed before this condition if of debug. So if that is the case, whenever this condition is executed, always the debug value is having false statement. And if this condition is false, then this print statement will not be executed, right? So when we replace this debug with false, then here the print statement is termed as a dead, because it cannot be reached in the program. Why? Because here always the debug is set as false, so where the debug value is not at all changing, so it is always set as false. If that is the case, this print statement cannot be reached throughout the program, and so that we can say this print statement is a dead statement. So what we can do is we can eliminate both the test and the print operation from the object code. That is, we can eliminate both this statement from the object code. Why? Because it doesn't have any work here, it doesn't have any meaning here. So this is what a dead code elimination. Also here we have one more concept called constant folding. So whenever we have an expression and the value of that expression is always constant, so then instead of using that expression in our program, we can replace that expression with the constant value that is the result of that expression. So this is called as the constant folding. That is, for example, when we have an expression like a is equal to 2 star 4. So we know that always 2 star 4 is equal to 8. So the value of a will not be changed here. Why? Because here we are using the constant value, and this constant value always gives a constant result. So instead of using this expression in a program, what we can do is we can directly take this constant value 8 and we can use it in the program. So instead of having this expression, so this can be deduced at compile time itself, and this is what called as the constant folding. And whenever we are doing this copy propagation, then this copy propagation will always be followed by dead code. So here we have some dead code elimination in the block 5 also. So this is what the block 5 after doing copy propagation. So if you look at this statements inside this block 5, so here we have x is equal to t3, so which is a copy statement here, and here we have a of t2 is equal to t5. And coming to the third statement, you can see here we have a of t4 is equal to t3 and go to b2. So inside this block we are not at all using this variable x, so this statement is not necessary here, right? So what we have done is we can directly assigned this t3 to a of t4, so which is not an this statement is not having any use in this block. So here what we can do is we can eliminate this statement here, so which is a dead code, which is considered as a dead code in the inside this block. So what we can do is we can just remove this assignment to x, and we can transform this code like a of t2 is equal to t5, then a of t4 is equal to t3, and go to b2. So this is what after the transformation, that is after removing the assignment to x. And the next one is code motion. So here when we say code motion, we'll see with example. That is, here in code motion we know that loops are the very important places for optimization. That is, here always program spends most of its time in executing the loop only, and especially the inner loops. So the program will spend bulk of their time in executing the inner loops, so that the running time of a program may be improved if we decrease the number of instructions inside this inner loop. So this modification, that is decreasing the number of code or amount of code in a loop, is actually termed as code motion here. And this transformation takes an expression, and that expression yields the same result independent of number of times the loop is executed, and it evaluates the expression just before the loop. That is, consider this example, that is a while loop here, and inside this while loop we have a condition I less than or equal to limit minus 2. So here we have an expression limit minus 2. So whenever this while loop is executing, the number of times, and uh, here the limit minus 2, the expression limit minus 2 is not going to change throughout the loop execution. So how many times the loop is executing, so based on that number of times, here this expression will also get executed. That is, every time this expression will be evaluated, which doesn't change the value in any of the execution part. So what happens here is, instead of repeating this expression, that is, instead of repeating this evaluation again and again, so we can just do the code motion here. And how we can eliminate this redundancy here is just by replacing this code like this. So if you look at this code before this while statement, so this expression is taken and assigned to a variable, and now the result will be, I mean, this expression will be evaluated only once before this while loop, and the result will be stored inside this temporary variable t. Now whenever you are executing this while loop, so only it will take the value of t directly, and then it will compare it with the value of I. So instead of executing, or instead of evaluating this expression every time the loop is executing, so here what we have just done is we just reduce the evaluation by assigning this evaluation into a temporary variable and taking this temporary variable for comparison. So this is how we can translate this code like this, and we can improve the code here, that is, we can optimize the code here. And the final transformation we can do here is by induction variable and reduction in strength. So induction variable means so here the variable is said to be an induction variable if if there is a positive or negative constant value, and every time x is assigned with that positive or negative constant value, so its values decreases or increases by this constant values. So that type of variable can be termed as an induction variable. And whenever we are doing optimization, first we need to find the induction variable inside the loop, and then we can go for optimization. So that is, for example, if you take this block 2, inside this block 2 we can say that I and t2 are induction variables. Why? Because it is having some constant values, and based on this constant value, here the value of I and t2 are getting changed. So here these two are considered as the induction variables. And the next one is reduction in strength. So here what is called as reduction in strength, or we can say strength reduction, means whenever we are transforming or replacing an expensive operation by a cheaper operation. For example, when we are replacing multiplication with plus, so here multiplication is considered as an expensive operation and plus is considered as a cheaper operation. Or when we are transforming the expression from computing a power into multiplication, that is, we are replacing this power with multiplication, then we can say that we are transforming the expensive operation with a cheaper one. So here the power is considered as the expensive operation and multiplication is considered as the cheaper one here. So whenever we are doing these kind of transformation, then we can say that it is a strength reduction or reduction in strength. So for example, I can say we can replace x, that is x power 2 by x star x, right? Or we can replace 2 star x by x plus x. So which gives us the same result. 2 star x as well as x plus x gives us the same result. In the same way, x square and x star x gives us the same result. But taking the operator, so this is an expensive operator, whereas multiplication is an cheaper one compared to this power operator. Then in the same way, taking this multiplication operator and addition operator, it is considered as the expensive one than this addition operator. So here we can replace this expensive operator with a cheaper one, so that this will take less number of time to execute this expressions. So this is how we are doing reduction in strength. And these are all the semantic preservation transformations that we are applying for optimizing a code.